The weight of the skull in males is heavier and in females is lighter.
You being an anthropologist, which anthropology is the study of human civilization, human biological and social. So if you were to dig up a human, two humans, in 100 years from now, both man and woman, could you tell the difference? Strictly off of bones?
No, because there's a wide range
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Recording. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. You know, a lot of the problems in society are these Gen Z kids. It's not with them is not really their fault. Many of them go to these colleges where they are told by people that they are told are intelligent, outright lies, propagandized to, indoctrinated by people that they're paying a lot of money, people that they pay to go into debt for. There's actually another level of sinisterness when you pay somebody to lie to you. It's far more difficult to actually unwind that. And Riley Gaines, which is a popular female swimmer, who has spoken out against biological males invading biological female spaces in sports, had a speaking tour over this past week in which a literal anthropology professor claimed that there was no difference between male and female skeletons. They were then laughed at and had nothing to say about it other than to triple down in the most hilarious meltdown I think I've provided to date. We're going to get into that after a super quick word from this video sponsor, Private Internet Access. Huge shout out to this video sponsor, Private Internet Access. Look, it's 2023. If you don't have a VPN, you're missing out on a ton of benefits. Not just a more secure connection, but if you're paying for Netflix, Disney Plus, or any other streaming service, you're already getting locked out of a ton of additional content that you could be enjoying if you used a VPN. And since they've been sponsoring the channel so long, they've rolled out a massive discount for my viewers. That's right, 84% off plus 4 months free. It's $2.03 a month, 4 months free, 84% off. Private Internet Access also offers privacy on all your devices, lightning fast global server network. And look, outside of all the additional content you're going to be able to view out there using Private Internet Access, it also has a strict no logs policy. It's open source. It has state-of-the-art updates. It's instant to set up. You can put it on all of your devices, your tablet, your computer, your mobile phones. It has unlimited bandwidth and so much more. If you don't have a VPN yet, make today the day. Use my link in the description to get Private Internet Access, start being more secure, and unlock loads more content. Hey, Private Internet Access no longer has any limits on the number of devices you can use their software on. So if you haven't picked up a VPN yet, make sure you take advantage of their massive discount in the pinned comment down below. I'm the expert in the room. Moment, University of Pittsburgh class erupts in laughter when professor claims that there is no difference between male and female skeletons. An anthropology professor at University of Pittsburgh denied the difference between male and female skeletons to derisive laughter from students during a speaking engagement from college swimming champion Riley Gaines. Gabby Yearwood, a professor whose research focuses on, quote, the social constructions of race and racism, masculinity, gender, black feminist and black queer theory, anthropology of sport, and black diaspora, according to his bio. Gaines, a rising star in the conservative speaking circuit. By the way, I don't think that Riley Gaines should be, I don't know if she's accepted this moniker or outright said that she's in fact a conservative. This is something that, like, you know, my viewers and I, you guys know, like, I don't really call myself a conservative. It's just being a regular person, you know, acknowledging that there is indeed a difference between men and women That doesn't mean you're a conservative. That just means you're not insane. Gaines, a rising star, is an advocate to keep student athletes who are born biological males out of women's sports. She spoke at the school recently and posed the question to her audience. If you were to dig up a human, two humans, 100 years from now, both a man and a woman, could you tell the difference strictly off their bones? The professor responded, no, to laughter from the students in the audience, as well as Gaines. We actually have video of this, which is, I promise you, what a great day. If you're enjoying my content, by the way, make sure you leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button down below. Or if you're watching Rumble, BitChute, or Odyssey, please subscribe there too. I really appreciate your support. So when Riley Gaines asked University of Pittsburgh professor Gabby Yearwood if an archaeologist could differentiate between two sets of bones, this is the response.
You being an anthropologist, which anthropology is the study of human civilization,
Ish.
So if you were to dig up a human, two humans, and 100 years from now, both man and woman, could you tell the difference? Strictly off of bones.
No, because there's a wide range.
Yes, you could. It is one of the easiest things to determine. Now, if you have like let's say you picked a case, like a random, you identified somebody that is androgynous or difficult to tell, and then you're like, well, could you tell the difference on this one? But by and large, if you pulled 1,000 skeletons and 500 of each gender, you'd probably have somewhere near a 96%, 97% accuracy. If you didn't catch that, he said, why am I being laughed at? I'm the expert in the room. This is the problem, right? First of all, he may be an expert, but he is allowing his ideology to reign supreme over scientific fact. It's always a total mind-blowing scenario or a situation when I see a lot of these follow the science people, which you should follow the science, just not the science TM. When you see all of these people openly ignore the science when it fits their ideological perspective.
Have any of you been to archaeological sites? Have any of you studied biological anthropology?
No, but I have the ability to make opinions based off of like data, you know?
I absolutely love, shout out to all these students, based in science pilled. You know, like I just very, very happy to see that he was immediately laughed at.
I've got over 150 years of data. I'm just curious as to why I'm being laughed at.
Why am I being laughed at? Is because you just said with a straight face, as somebody who studies anthropology, that there's no difference between male and female skeletons. That is the joke. He, of course, doubles down, saying that he's the expert in the room. Have any of you been to an anthropological site? Have any of you studied biological anthropology? I'm just saying, I've got over 150 years of data, and I'm curious as to why I'm being laughed at. At one point, Yearwood explains, I have a PhD. So what? That just means you paid for it. First of all, you can get a wide variety of rubber-stamped PhDs. There's a whole bunch of athletes that have them, and other people who have honorary PhDs, first of all. Second of all, I'm a year and a half away from having my PhD, okay? And I'm not exactly the smartest dude in the room either. All right, so having your PhD doesn't really mean a lot anymore these days. The Independent Women's Forum, who posted the clip, wrote, "This is how far removed the left is from the reality they must deny basic scientific facts. Gaines might not have a PhD in anthropology like Professor Yearwood, but she and her teammates know the physical advantages of biological males over females in the sport firsthand," they added. According to the Smithsonian, males tend to have larger, more robust bones and joint surfaces, and more bone development at muscle attachment sites. However, the pelvis is the best related indicator. because of the distinct features adapted for women and childbearing. There are numerous ways you can figure it out, by the way. The skull, like I was just going to say, the skull also has features that can indicate gender, though slightly less reliable. They note that gender-related differences are not obvious in the bones of the very young. Sure, because you haven't developed yet. You haven't had testosterone or estrogen coursing through your veins at high levels for very long. It's absolutely, by the way, Gaines was speaking about her experience competing against biological men, participating in female sports, after she was forced to go head-to-head with University of Pennsylvania swimmer Leah Thomas, a biological male. Earlier this year, Gaines slammed President Joe Biden for proposing the change to the definition of things in a federal civil rights law to include gender and gender identity. The changes to Title IX in the 1972 law prohibits this gender-based discrimination in any school or other education program that receives funding from federal government. Therefore, they allow transgender female athletes to compete against biological women in sports. By doing so, Gaines wrote in an essay, biological women will be placed at a disadvantage when competing against trans men. Gaines used the opportunity to recount how she was forced to share a locker room with Thomas in the NCAA championships back in March. She wrote, at the NCAA championships, I saw a 6'4" male exposing his male parts in our women's locker room. To be perfectly clear, the anatomy I and many other women were forced to view confirms that Thomas is male. Gaines said she then asked the National Collegiate Athletic Association officials where she could change, as I had no intention of undressing in front of a man. They informed me that there were no protections in place for me to change in a space that Thomas did not have access to. To summarize, the NCAA put the onus on the female to avoid undressing in front of a biological man with biological parts who is also attracted to women. Let that sink in. Conservative efforts to crack down on trans participation in school sports have gained steam in recent years, particularly since Leah Thomas's ascent. It's become a new culture war front and even featured as a campaign issue in several races during the 2022 election. The left and LGBTQ activists have pushed back, claiming that policies forcing students to participate in school activities designated by biology rather than identity is repressive to trans youth. Don't care. You don't compete on the gender you feel you are. You compete on the gender that you are. I applaud Riley Gaines. I'm actually going to reach out to her and see if I can bring her on the channel, maybe for a stream in the near future. I feel like I can set that up. And if you want me to, let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.